Some awesome new Xbox Game Pass for PC and Windows 11 features have been announced. A huge game is in early development at EA. EA is looking at the Xbox acquisition of Activision Blizzard and Call of Duty as a big opportunity, and a massive hire has been made in the gaming industry. All right, guys, before we get into this, I have 4 months to hit my goal of 10,000 subscribers. I see a lot of you are new to this channel. If you are, please consider hitting that subscribe button if you enjoy this video. So Xbox Game Pass and Windows 11 have announced a bunch of new features coming over to people who use Game Pass on PC with Windows 11, of course. And there's a bunch of pretty interesting things here, particularly when it comes to playing Xbox Game Pass via the Edge browser. So first of all, there is going to be a new controller bar. As you can see here in the picture at the top of your desktop, there will be a bar that kind of goes across, kind of like a media bar, gives them more, I guess you could say, of a console feel, because it is going to be controller friendly, and you're going to be able to access this just by pressing the Xbox button on your Xbox controller. So ease of access when you're have your controller connected to your PC, rather than, I guess, having to go in, find the game, or look for it through search, all that type of stuff. All of your recent games will just show up on this game bar. And you can see here, it also has Steam as a launcher, and then it also has EA Play, and then I guess the Xbox app as well. There's also going to be graphics improvements coming over to Windows 11 and Xbox Game Pass for PC, as now windowed games running DirectX 10 and 11 will receive improved display latency, auto HDR, and variable refresh rate. I mean, playing games windowed, full screen windowed, just easy to switch between apps when you're playing games on PC. A lot of people play in that way, so having these features available when the game is in that mode, I think, is a very, very good thing. There's also going to be a new HDR calibration app, which gives you more color accuracy depending on your HDR display. Really just matches the game to your display and gives you the best look for it. You can see here with Subnautica with the SDR versus the HDR. Now, we know one of the best features within the Xbox Series X and S, particularly with backwards compatibility, are features like the auto HDR. And it just takes a game that didn't have these features previously and has software running over it, and makes these games be able to just look overall better, makes you feel like you're playing a newer version of this game. And this auto HDR feature did come over to PC, and now it's going to be supported across more games, which is always a good thing to see. A lot of the Xbox features like the direct storage support, the auto HDR, the FPS boost, all that type of stuff are unique to Xbox, and they are transitioning over to Xbox Game Pass on PC, and will just make playing games on PC that much better. And you usually wouldn't think of it that way. You'd always think that the better features would be on PC, and generally for a lot of the times it is. There's just way more customizability you can do, so you can just have a lot more things happening. But the Xbox consoles did a lot this generation to give great features that are desirable as well on PC. So you're going to have things like direct storage support across more storage configurations now with DirectX 12 Ultimate. And then finally, jumping down here to the Edge browser, which I think is probably one of the coolest things that Xbox is doing with their Xbox Game Pass subscription, just giving people the ability to play games anywhere, literally only needing a browser, but then adding in more features so that when you're playing these games, they actually look pretty good through Xbox Cloud Gaming. First of all, they're going to be having this gaming homepage that is going to be updated and just be curated for the games that you're playing, being able to jump right in to Xbox Cloud Gaming and suggesting other games similar to games that you've already played. We know that the Edge browser also has built-in clarity boost, which is a very cool feature. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. Just toggling between clarity boost on and clarity boost off, it actually makes a big difference in the sharpness of the game via Xbox Cloud Gaming. There's going to be an efficiency mode, which improves your gaming performance on Windows 10 and Windows 11 by automatically reducing the browser resource usage when a PC game is launched. So lots of cool things upgraded here for Xbox, Windows 11, Xbox Game Pass. That's going to make that experience better on PC and experience more streamlined when you think about things like auto HDR and direct storage that were previously just Xbox features, bringing themselves over to Windows 11 and just giving that overall similar experience no matter where you are playing. I think that it is important for Xbox and the Xbox ecosystem. Yes, there's going to be a difference when you launch your Xbox console with the dashboard and the way things look compared to when you launch games on PC. But the way that games are experienced and played needs to be a seamless experience. So when you're jumping from your Xbox to your PC, you don't really have to compromise on the features that are available on either platform. All right, jumping over here to some EA news and Battlefield, Call of Duty, as well as a new game in production at Motive Studio. So first of all, as we know, Call of Duty, Xbox has said multiple times it is staying multi-platform, at least for now, at least for the next couple of years. And I'm assuming after those next couple of years, they are going to reevaluate things and see if it makes business sense to keep the game across all the different platforms, particularly keep it on PlayStation. It's always going to be available in multiple places because of the Xbox ecosystem, but PlayStation is going to have to be evaluated in a couple of years. And we know PlayStation are very concerned about this, as it is their biggest money maker, and they would be losing a ton of money if the game were to ever leave the platform. So they are trying their best to block the Activision Blizzard acquisition by Xbox. Now we have EA, who's taking a slightly different stance here, which I think is the stance that PlayStation should be taking, and looking at this as an opportunity to create a competitor that potentially surpasses Call of Duty and keep a game like that across all the different platforms. Or if you're PlayStation, keep a game that is bigger or as good as Call of Duty on PlayStation alone, because that's the strategy that they utilize right now to push their consoles and push their platform forward. But Andrew Wilson, the CEO of Electronic Arts, talked about Call of Duty potentially becoming a console exclusive one day, and he says here, "I don't think that we've delivered in the last two iterations of that in the way that we should have," referencing Battlefield, of course. "There's a lot of work that we've got to do there, but at its very core, this is an extraordinary IP, and what we've seen in the world of entertainment is great IP is resilient." You think about Battlefield. Battlefield is a great IP, very, very popular, but he's right. The last two iterations of it have just been absolutely abysmal. You have Battlefield 5, which had backlash. Whether you agree with the reasons for the backlash or not, it doesn't really matter. The game did not do well because they literally called out their fans and told them not to buy the game after the backlash, and that's exactly what they did. I still really don't understand why a lot of these companies think that calling out the people that pay them and buy their products because a small minority of people complain about some stupid thing is a good idea. We've seen it affect and have a negative effect on a lot of IPs that come out because of that. So I don't see how that's even happening. We even are seeing recently with G4 and how they've completely fallen off because of the person who called out all of the fans on an absolutely crazy rant out of nowhere. But anyways, I digress. That's completely different than we're talking about here. Continues on here to say, "We've seen movies not live up to the expectations of franchises. Star Wars might be one of those franchises. And when you see what happens when you get the right creative team involved, how they can completely reinvent and grow a franchise, I think we have an extraordinary creative team involved in Battlefield now who have unbelievable ambition to own the first-person shooter space." And Battlefield, I would love to see them eventually make a big comeback and have a game that really is thought of as a big competitor to Call of Duty. I think it would be a great thing. It will push Call of Duty forward, and it will give people just more options of the games that they want to play when it comes to those styles of first-person shooters. And finally, he ends it off saying, "In a world where there may be questions over the future of Call of Duty and what platforms that might be on or might not be on, being platform agnostic and completely cross-platform with Battlefield, I think is a tremendous opportunity." And again, this is something that a lot of publishers and developers are probably thinking when they're thinking about the fact that Call of Duty one day may only be within the Xbox ecosystem. The only thing with that is it literally just won't be on the PlayStation platform. I mean, Call of Duty right now isn't even on Nintendo, so you don't even really need to think about them as an opportunity for their games. The same with Battlefield. But going forward, this is the way, if I was PlayStation, I would be looking at this Call of Duty thing and Activision Blizzard, is that we have an opportunity here with IPs that we have in our backlog, like Killzone, like Resistance, to make something that can really compete with Call of Duty, which will push the industry forward. Obviously, that's not the way they're going. They're just trying everything they can to stop the deal. And then you have EA here looking at this and thinking, hey, we can capitalize on Call of Duty if Xbox were to take it off of the PlayStation platform. And then moving on here, we have some news from Motive Studios, as we know is a studio at EA, and they have worked on the Star Wars IP mainly recently as they created the Battlefront 2 and Star Wars Squadrons, which Battlefront was never a big fan of. They never really pulled me in like the older games. Star Wars Squadrons, from all accounts from what I've heard, is actually a pretty decent game. It's probably their best entry into the Star Wars IP. This all started back when EA got the exclusive rights to the Star Wars IP, and I think that they really fumbled that, except for really Jedi Fallen Order, which is an incredible game, and I'm really looking forward to the second one. Now they're working on Dead Space, but they have recently come out and announced a brand new game, and that is going to be a new Iron Man game. And here is what they say. We are thrilled to share that an all-new single-player third-person action-adventure Iron Man game is now in early development at Montreal-based Motive Studio. The team is being led by Oliver Prue, who brings experience working on past Marvel titles like Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. And Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, a great game. And it didn't ever receive enough attention for how good of a Marvel game that actually was, especially in terms of like the storytelling and the character development. Just an absolutely great game that didn't do well, and Square Enix was pretty vocal with it not doing well, which, I mean, they don't even own the studio that makes Guardians of the Galaxy anymore, as it is owned by the Embracer Group. Now, it says here they will be developing this obviously in collaboration with Marvel Games, and it will feature an original narrative. So Motive, they have a massive IP here for Iron Man to be able to knock this out of the park and just really create something that a lot of people are going to be talking about and love for a very long time. There's so much you could do with Iron Man, with the movement and everything. I think back to Anthem, which is a game that completely failed, but it is an EA studio with BioWare, and I think the movement in that game really always made me think about Iron Man. If they were able to take that gameplay, add to it, maybe just adjust it slightly for the current gen consoles and everything like that, I think they could have something pretty great here, and I hope that it is a game that does succeed. It's very early in development. We're probably not going to see this for an extremely long time, as they are right now working on Dead Space. So they're probably very early with a small team on this Iron Man game, and then once Dead Space is out, they're going to be transferring pretty much everybody to get this one out. So excited to see this. I think this was one that was in the rumors for a while, but now it's officially announced. All right, to end things off here, let's talk about a major hire in the video game industry, and that is that Sean Layden has joined Tencent Games. And we know Sean Layden as the previous boss of PlayStation before leaving in 2019, where Jim Ryan has taken over, and I would say has led PlayStation in a negative way, has led PlayStation down a negative path compared to where Sean Layden had PlayStation before his departure. He is very, very big in the gaming industry, and he's joining Tencent here, saying this on LinkedIn Update. I am delighted to share that I have recently joined Tencent Games as a strategic advisor. In this new role, I hope to advise, assist, and support the team at Tencent as they deepen their activities and commitments within the industry to which I've devoted the majority of my career. We are at an epoch-defining moment in gaming and interactive entertainment. There are many possible roads ahead, but only a few are profound, broadening, inclusive, edifying, inspiring, and/or sustainable. I am thrilled to continue this journey of discovery and thank Tencent for the opportunity. So this is a pretty big hire. I mean, he has such a pedigree within the industry in terms of a lot of the stuff that he did with PlayStation, especially if you take a look at the PS4 before he left. I mean, it is one of the best consoles that PlayStation has released in terms of its success. And he's going to be able to bring all that knowledge from working at PlayStation over to Tencent. Maybe they're going to go down the lines of trying to make those big third-person cinematic games. I wonder if they will ever get into the console market, or are they going to go down those lines of the ecosystem, the subscription service, and really follow in the footsteps of Xbox. I think that's the way to go if you are Tencent, to get your games out to as many people as possible. But we'll wait and see, and we'll wait and see how this hire plays out for Tencent. Tencent is a massive competitor. We think about Xbox, we think about PlayStation, and them always going against each other, but I think both of them, particularly Xbox, really need to focus on Tencent as a company that is going to be huge, as it already is huge, but even bigger in terms of having to compete with getting consumers to buy into your ecosystem, to buy into your platform. That's it for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts on all of this stuff. What do you think about Sean Layden going to Tencent? What are your thoughts on Iron Man coming from Motive? Are you excited for that? What do you think about the Xbox Game Pass features coming to PC and everything else? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here and you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.
We'll be right back.